Well, hello, hello, hello. It's been a few days. I decided not to do live to see how this thing works, not being live, but being something else. So, I don't want to make it long because I don't know if this is going to work. So, I decided to talk about who are we? Who are giggers? Who are people who will do the grind? Let's talk about it. So welcome to the Build Show. My name is Potter. I am a early retired consultant, cybersecurity consultant. I was making 5 times as much as a corporate person than I do as a gig person. But the freedom and 2 years of being in crypto helped me really dwindle down what I spend. The only thing that I did while I was waiting for one of my plays, which was called Drip, to be realized, and is I increased my credit card debt. The gig economy helps me pay that down, but it's not like the 5 times what I was making salary. But I still have no desire to go back. So one of the things I was thinking about is who are we? And I know that, you remember in school when you had different things that you could do, but the person who wheeled in the overhead, who put the film in the projector, made it run, and then it turned into you were the computer person. So you got to kind of go to every different room, right? People knew who you were. You weren't on the football. Well, I was on the football team, but just as a punter, I didn't ever play. But so we didn't go. I mean, we went into all the different rooms. We went into the AP classes. We went into we're not serious about school classes. We had access to everywhere, and I think at least not as a rideshare person, but as a delivery gigger, I think you do more. I still wonder if I'm going to get banned for saying that, but I really think that's what we do. We go into fancy hotels, beautiful neighborhoods, not so nice neighborhoods, and we get paid for it though. And so when we're in school, the payback is kind of popular. So I kind of figured that's who we are if you look at it from a high school or a school lens, because it's not that you're looked down on. It's just that you're just the projector guy, But at the same time, you didn't have to stay in class like everybody else. There was a perk. You got to do stuff that nobody else got to do. You got to see things. You got to go into the teacher's lounge, right? Because you had that special access and they knew that you could fix stuff and get things working. You didn't get to skip ahead to the lunch line or anything. I guess the point that I'm getting at is it's a different... The gig economy is just different now. Please tell me. Yeah. Oh my God. I thought this wasn't on. I can't describe it because one of the things that I've started to do and I've started to understand is, when I first started talking about everything, it was DoorDash, DoorDash, DoorDash. And I think that that's a good start program because the app is good. They have a lot of incentives for, if you stay on the platform, like there's mental wellness, there's vision, there's dental that you can get all of these things for like $1 a week. I think there's accidental death and dismemberment. How about just accidental death? And so I wish I could have sounds on here. So today, for example, today was the first day that I said, you know what, I'm going to just come back to home to see how it works. I know it in the background, I should have a car, because everybody else who does gig tube stuff, other than driving wild, they're pretty much always in a car, and I'm always in a house. But I still believe in crypto, so I'm trying to figure out a way to merge those two, the gig economy with Bitcoin specifically. But I can't. I haven't figured out anything yet. But my point is that by staying home and seeing, how I was getting pinged, I have everything on now, so I might even get a ping while I'm there. But I made, because I've been selective about what I've taken and I've just come home. But if you're working a whole day, it's only like $60, $70, right? If I always want to get the 100, that means I got to go out there and grind it, which was interesting. But the day's not done yet. I kind of wrap up in an hour, so we'll see what happens in an hour. I've tried to go to that 3:30 thing. Oh man, schools start letting out. Oh, it's just a weird time. People who order are different. So I got my first order with somebody who I had to talk down from. I thought she was going to give me a bad rating. And it was for a Dollar General order. Not that there's anything wrong with Dollar General at all. So usually the stigma associated to people who order for Dollar General when it comes to drivers is they're not going to tip. Spoiler alert, this woman did. But I didn't know that at the time. So I'm in the store and the scanner's just like, no, they don't have it. So you probably know this guy, Pedro. He's one of the big gig tubers. Gets thousands of views every video. And he was talking, he calls them names. He calls people, because he worked in a restaurant, so he calls people who don't tip, and he calls them clowns, and he doesn't want to serve them. He always feels that when you get somebody who starts talking to you in a chat, it's over. Like they're going to rate you bad. So this woman, she sends me texts about how she makes sure they're in bags. I'm like, oh no, this is what Pedro's talking about. So I do everything. I'm like, I got to be very careful here. And of course I get down to the last item to scan, and it's not scanning, but I'm sitting there, I'm reading it. It's exactly what she wanted. But the app says, no, it's not. And because I did not want to take a risk with a person who's already, chomping at the bit to say, blah, 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 do this, do that. I'm like, I'm not going to get it wrong. So I would rather give her nothing than give her the wrong thing. Right? So there's a lot of thinking you got to do. And it wasn't a lot of stuff. Like I see people shop for 30 items. It was like 7. And so, as I'm checking out, I see a message pop up that says, it's right there in front of you. You took a picture of it. And I'm like, you know what? I'll explain it to her when I see her, because she was one of the people who says, hand it to me. I was like, oh, yeah, she's going to give me help. And so I said, I texted her back, sorry, because I had a delivery before her that was on the way. And so I said, hey, sorry, I missed that. I didn't see that she had called. And she was like, you just didn't follow my instructions. I'm like, oh boy, here comes that rating. Here comes that one rating, maybe. And, I get there. She opens the door. She's in like this pink house coat. She's got a shower cap. And, I'm tall, so I think that shocked her. And she was showing me the picture that I sent her to show her. She was like, it's right there. You have it in the picture. You just didn't do it. I said, I did try. I said, I sent you that picture. You can see that whole row. I scanned all of them. And there's video in the store. You can see it. And it was giving me a negative for all of them. I said, I wouldn't lie. That wasn't good enough. So she kind of went back at me, and she was like, no, it doesn't make sense. Why would it not? Yeah, her head was like that. Don't mind this. But she was like, why wouldn't it allow you to do it if it was even cheaper? And it's the exact thing I was looking for. I was like, I don't know. I said, but it definitely did not scan and other things did. I said, I wouldn't lie to you. So she finally, she was like, okay. She's like, I'm going to call the store. I'm like, actually, that would help me because they would tell you how long I stood there trying to scan everything. But I was just waiting and waiting for my rating to go down. And then as I closed her out, I saw, oh shit, she did tip. So, let's see, Spark. Spark today has been so busy. 19 drops for $48 from the store on Gandy. But where does it end up? You end up... Wow. I did one of these the first time. You end up with your final one is an apartment. Yeah. No. That's a no for me. It's $50. They said it'll take about 2 hours. So that put me at $330. So, I guess, when you're listening to these people who, tell you things to expect, you have to use your own experience, because if I'd listened completely to the advice, and he didn't give advice, it's just his experience with people who, straight from the order, they're just going to rank you low no matter what. If I treated her like that and I said, oh, she didn't tip, it would have been different. But she is the client of my client. I want to make sure everybody that I, meet gets my respect, and I'm really not going to do a half-assed job of trying to get them what they want. I mean, how annoying is it when you go to a fast food place and you go through drive-thru and you get home and it's not what you ordered? So having to go through an app, click on stuff you order, and saying it's in stock, and then not getting what you want after waiting that long is pretty infuriating. So, infuriating, nice. So, you just have to remember being the special person who can go from, you can wield your cart from room to room. You get to see the beautiful homes. Today's weather was so perfect. And I would rather do that than make 5 times as much. Now, my position is different because I've traveled all over the world. I've stayed in the nicest hotels. I've bought everything I've pretty much wanted. Now I have too much. And so I'm in a different stage of life where I can just enjoy what I have versus want. There are taxi cab drivers in New York City who put their kids through college, just driving a cab. And so I do hear people say, oh, I just have this as a backup gig. I have another job. Well, for me, I think that this can be a career. And as nations, start to understand that contractors, this is not going to go away. They have to figure out a way how to get their tax money from them, and at the same time kind of protect people. In New York City, they've raised the minimum rate that drivers make to $29 a delivery. An hour delivery. It's one of those. But the people who are doing that now, they're probably not going to get tips. Will they care? Probably. Backlash. What is going on with my mouth? There's a big backlash going against, I think, DoorDash. But I'm consistently able, without super trying, to get over $100. If I try hard, it's always going to be like $125, $150, and that's in 6-7 hours. Because I live in a city that it's always going off, and Uber Eats is kind of pulling it back, starting to give me runs that I consider fair. If I can do a whole bunch of those and then call it a day, yeah, great. Because I'm not trying to make maximum bank, because I don't want to buy a house. Did that. I've had multiple houses. I don't want that con anymore. It's not just the house you own, it's the roof you own, it's the plumbing you own, it's the homeowners association you own, it's the lawn that you own, it's the neighbors that you have to deal with. When you want to sell it, you just can't say, okay, I'm out. I'm going to end, hey bank, I'm going to end this, and I'm going to, no. You have to pay to get out. So, let's see what we got here. $14. 19 minutes. Let me make sure it's the right Home Depot. It is. I'm going to take that. And with that, I'm going to end the stream and go make that money. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll figure out how to post this later. Until then, gig on.